One of the main aspects of historical American conservatism is that we challenge power. We question the government. The founding fathers who created the United States by their rebelling against the English government. Our unique American political conservatism has always questioned states and governments and power. But former Secretary of State and CIA head, Republican Mike Pompeo, who served under Trump, neoconservative, thinks differently. Let's listen to this clip from Mike Pompeo and what he thinks about conservatives and their views on Israel.
It seems the Jewish community keeps hearing more and more anti-Semitic sentiment, anti-Israel sentiment. Is that the direction of the party?
Criticizing Israel is
anti-Semitic? What can we do to make sure that we continue to protect the Republican Party to grow in the right direction?
Yeah. That there's this old adage that says, the friend of my enemy is my friend. We have to call out those, whatever. If we agree with them on 90% of the issues, and yet they are anti-Zionist or they are anti-Semitic, we have to call it what it is. We can't say, well, gosh, they agree with me on limited government. They think taxes should be lower, or they're good Christian people. That's great. When someone, whatever political party they are, behaves in a way that is inconsistent with the love of their fellow man and the love of the Jewish people here in the United States and the Jewish people in their rightful homeland in Israel or wherever they may be in the diaspora, Republican leaders have a responsibility to not only just call it out, but explain why that's so deeply inconsistent with who we are as conservatives and Republicans. I think that's sometimes the hard part, is to say, gosh, Joe's my friend, and Joe said something like anti-Semitic, and I don't want to make Joe mad. That Joe agrees with me on being pro-life or whatever it may be. No good. That's insufficient. We're a Big Ten party. We have people with lots of different ideas. You can agree with me about what the right marginal tax rate is on capital gains. That sounds great. You cannot allow disagreement on this issue to creep inside of our party, because it will be poisonous and it will grow and metastasize in ways that will be really difficult to get back.
You can't allow disagreement to seep into the Republican Party on the issue of Israel if you're Mike Pompeo. That is a neoconservative concept of what it means to be a conservative in the United States, and it's dead wrong. First of all, he equates the Jewish people, whether the United States or Israel, with the current government of Israel and what they're up to. That's stupid. That would be like saying that Rush Limbaugh is anti-American because he criticized the Clinton administration. He criticized the U.S. government, therefore he's anti the American people. That's just dumb. It's intellectually dishonest. Nobody's being against humanity, and certainly not Jews in particular. This is not about anti-Semitism. This is about criticizing what Israel's government's doing with our taxpayer dollars and killing people left and right in Palestine. The idea that you, as an American conservative, whether you're Tucker Carlson or Pat Buchanan or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Rand Paul or Thomas Massie, can't question that, and if you do, not only are you anti-Semitic, which is stupid, but that disagreement is not allowed. That's not a United States I want to be a part of. It's sure as hell not a conservative movement I want to be a part of. Furthermore, Jewish critics of Israel's government, like Glenn Greenwald, who has a lot of friends on the American right, is he anti-Semitic? Libertarian comic pundit Dave Smith is Jewish and criticizes harshly what Israel's government is doing. I think all conservatives should criticize governments in all sorts of different countries, especially if we're giving them money. I'll go even further. There was a time in this country where even a conservative like Mike Pompeo thought Ronald Reagan was a pretty cool guy, that he deserves to be in the conservative pantheon of the United States or whatever. If you read Reagan's diary and his criticism of Israeli diplomats and officials and the prime minister and his frustrations and withholding aid sometimes and different things he did, by modern Mike Pompeo, neocon, Mark Levin, Lindsey Graham, Republican standards, Ronald Reagan would be an anti-Semite for having a disagreement with the state of Israel. Mike Pompeo says you can't have disagreements. Well, there's a name for that. It sure as hell isn't conservative. It's called Israel First. So there are people on the American right, more the establishment right, certainly neoconservatives, whose first primary concern is Israel to such a degree that they don't think you should be able to question their government, that disagreements cannot exist on the right. And there's the rest of us that are America First and have questions about our money going to a country doing some things that are questionable on a basic level and immoral and deplorable and inhuman on a regular level. So, sorry, Mike Pompeo, you're wrong. Disagreements are not only allowed on the right, you're not a policeman or a gatekeeper, but they're necessary and at the heart of American conservatism, like it or not, Mike Pompeo.